So here we are, another frosty morning on the Miramichi River. It's got a little bit of fresh snow overnight. We're still at only about 2 to 3 inches on the ground. They say we're going to get a big snowstorm over the weekend. I think it's going to impact guys in the States more than here. But there is some snow coming, and the spell is really cold weather. For Saturday and Sunday, this is Friday. Saturday and Sunday is going to be well below 0 Fahrenheit. We've got an old roadway here. It used to be a wagon road that my father had cut up through here. You can see the opening coming down through there. We're opening it up for a twitching trail, a yarding trail, because we got to get back over this knoll here with the tractor. We've been coming in and going over there to that side. You can see a bit of a trail going through there. We've been cutting over toward the hollow, and whoa, what a blizzard coming there. But anyway, this old road hasn't been used for about 50 years at least. And yeah, you can see the road is it's almost non-existent here. It actually goes back through here, right in the middle of the screen. Lots of stuff growing up in it. I can remember coming out here with my father. He would have the team of horses and wagon hauling firewood. I can remember hauling through here with him, but I haven't used this road as long as I've been working the place here. This was never a bullnose road. This was just a cut road, and you can tell by the structure of the road bed. Still lots of humps and bumps in it. They would just find a place in the woods. This was a common way of building the old sled roads, wagon roads. They'd find a place where there was the least number of stumps and rocks to deal with, and cut a trail through the woods, and that's where they drove. And with the old high wheel wagons, it was a little bit easier going when they got into the newer rubber tired wagons and stuff that sat lower to the ground. It wasn't as convenient to do, but yeah, you can see this is this is the equivalent of what we would call skidder trail. But they used to drive this with the wagons, and believe it or not, in the early days of moving pulpwood by truck, they've actually hauled through here with the old 3-ton flat deck trucks. Haul pulpwood out this road. You wouldn't think it to see it, but they have come through here with trucks back in the day. They used to load the pulpwood by hand, 4-foot pulpwood, bale it on the truck by hand, and then haul it. Actually, from here, they used to haul it to the Nashwauk River, and they would dump it into the river there. There was a boom at the mouth of the Nashwauk River near Fredericton, and they would build the boom of pulpwood there, and then take the pulpwood by tug downriver, take the booms downriver to St. John to the pulp mill. And once we get here, it's almost anybody's guess where the road goes, but I get a pretty good idea. I know where it is back on the north end of the road, and we'll find a path through here. But anyway, that was the story of this road. My father used to, him and my grandfather used to transport supplies to the lumber camps north of here along the Bartholomew's and Dungarvan River, back as far as, well, there was almost to the Renews River a couple of times, and then south of the Miramichi River, there's a long stretch of woods, and you come to the Cairns River. They delivered stuff down into camps down in that way. The lumber companies like Fraser's would come and dump supplies off at the farm, and they'd load them on the wagons and wagon them on roads no better than this right here. And my father told me one time there was a camp north of here. They were wagoning supplies in for Fraser Company, and there was a place they told them, they said, you have to cross a small brook. And when they got to it, there was, the brook wasn't small. It was deep. It was black water. A lot of these streams up in the Northwoods here, the water is, it's got a black color to it for some reason or other. The amount of amount of acidic matter that goes in from the softwood trees, I would suppose. But anyway, they come to this this brook, and she was deep and she was black. When they crossed it with the wagon, the water was right up to the horses' bridles. It was lucky they were using one of the old high wagons at the time, and so the supply sat up out of the water enough to get through, but the water was well up on the sides of the horses. By the time that they come back out from the camp, the crew that were cutting the roadway had cut a roundabout. They had gone around the deepest part of the brook and found a little bit better crossing, so it was a bit better on the return trip and the next trips in. But that was the life of Teamsters hauling to the camps. Of course, the camps would be built in the spring and summer, and they'd get them all up and parapated and get a supply of firewood laid up. And there was crews of guys that was their trade. They were camp builders, and then the road builders. They would hack a road through the woods, find the best route that they could get. But once the snow was on, it wasn't a problem because you could sled over the top of a lot of obstruction. But it was getting enough of a road that the wagons could get in with the supplies to stock the camp. So that was just another everyday part of life in the woods back in the old days. So anyway, we're going to put this old trail to use. There's some nice spruce up in here once we get back in on this knoll, and we're going to cut back toward the north. The hollow is up to the west of us, up in that direction. We're going to follow the course of the hollow back over here this winter, cut back away there, and cut until the snow gets too deep anyway. Well, I got to get back to it. Have a good one. See you on the next one.